You see, Casimir, are you in here now? Because he has to be in it to stream.
This was from earlier.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how
It's
to.
recorded. Yeah.
That's not the one from now, though. Why is he not here? Ooh. Hello. Perfect. Well, now we're starting the stream. So, welcome everyone to the Peltarion No Code AI Accelerator Demo Day. My name is Corey Stegerud Pace. I am one of the mentors of this program. And today we will see our work, 6 weeks of work working with these teams on exactly what we have built. So before we start, anyone that sort of have joined the stream, not necessarily knowing what the AI Accelerator is, I want to just do a quick presentation because I always love to present something. And then we will get directly into the demos themselves. And then we also have an expert panel to give us some great feedback. So let me just give you a brief overview of what we've been doing the past 6 weeks. So we had 8 teams. Unfortunately, one team was sick today, naturally. So we have 7 teams to present. We had weekly sessions where all these teams were forced to listen to me for about an hour. Luckily, we had a few people volunteer so to break that up. But we also have mentors that were assigned to each team. And I think everyone came with different sort of ranges of experience and knowledge of AI. Nobody was a data scientist or a machine learning engineer. So we all started in different places, but hopefully we've all ended up in the same place of at least having a good confidence of building with AI and using AI in actual products in production. And today you'll see demos that range from using NLP or computer vision and even just kind of traditional regression problems and how AI can kind of solve those issues. And we really were focusing on actually developing the AI project itself. We weren't like, who's got the coolest UI or the, product name or addressable market. We really wanted to just focus on how to actually work with AI and the AI project process. So today we'll see, around 3 to 7 minute demos of listening to everyone's journey from the beginning to now. And hopefully everyone will also have a MVP or at least explain what their product will do. And our expert panel will give feedback. But I always want to show this slide because I'm sure all of the teams are tired of me showing the slide, but just to give you an understanding of what we mean by the AI project. So, first it was defining a business problem. Everyone, thinks AI can solve loads of problems, and it certainly can. But you really want to define exactly where you want the predictions to lie within your problem space. So I don't think we had anyone do like a huge pivot at the end of it all, but they were also, we at least guided people to sort of divide it and see where AI could solve and have the most, efficient problem solving there. And then the fun part, at least in my eyes, was the data understanding and preparation. So finding the data, getting it from various sources so the teams will explain what data that they used. And then the model building part. So we used obviously the Peltarion platform, which we make it quite simple and easy to do. But then, once you build a model, you need to evaluate it, understand which model is the best performing, and then ultimately deploy that into an app. So hopefully you'll see with all these teams today that they've kind of at least gone through all these steps, and they'll probably also explain to you what is been the most challenging for them. And if that sounds of interest to you, we do have a third cohort getting ready to start quite quickly on the back of this cohort. So the application deadline for that is the 28th. And you can scan the QR code. At least I hope that will work on your screens. I didn't actually test that on a stream, but there's actually no tuition cost to this program. We do require that teams upgrade to a plus plan. so that they have the technical resources available to them, so they don't have those awkward moments where they run out of training hours. But you can apply here, and you'll be able to give us just an understanding of what you want to do, the problem space, and we will let you know if you're accepted to the program. But on today's call, we have three experts, all kind of working within the product space or in also building AI companies. The first gentleman, I would say he probably has more LinkedIn followers than Reid Hoffman himself. And that's for good reason. He not only has a great product, QuestGen, but he also consults and teaches people on using some of the most advanced NLP techniques that are out there. So Ramzi, welcome to Demo Day.
Thanks, Corey.
The next panelist is probably the only panelist that can claim that she has at least saved one house from burning down from 3D printing through a product that uses computer vision to allow people to monitor their 3D printers without actually being there. And I think she's probably a hobbyist's best friend using a product, Print Nanny. Lee, welcome to Demo Day.
That's a great introduction. Thank you. Great KPI too, number of houses prevented from burn down. By day, I'm also an infrastructure and ML engineer at Slack as well. So bringing in some of that like large scale production engineering experience.
Welcome, welcome. And the last panelist, I would say he's probably the human version of a Wikipedia for the no-code world. If you have a problem, he's got a prescription. And of course, that will not be a lame joke on his name at all, because why would I do such a thing like that? But you've probably seen his many YouTube videos chronicling a lot of different products of no-code. Doc, welcome to Demo Day.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, only for you. I'm never awake this early in my normal life. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, I hope you have a coffee or tea or whatever you need to get up and morning. So thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Cool. Well, that's our experts, but we're really here for the demos. So the first demo today, and I'll stop sharing, will be from Katya, Team Roomex.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
So from Roomex, we are today Lina and Katja here, but also Emilia. She's part of our team, but she's not here. And also we have Damir with us. So we're gonna start our presentation.
Yes, it will be me starting off. So I will share my screen with you all. Should pop up in a second. Okay, so here we go. We are the Roomex team. And as Katja said, it will be me, Katja, and Damir today do this presentation. Then we have a lot of brilliant brains with us as well in the team. So we, to kickstart this then, we summarize ourselves around this question that we see here, which is basically that we were sitting wondering, okay, how does my bedroom or my living room look like with another color on besides the color I have on my wall today? And this is now what we want to tackle. And now basically you can visualize a new coloring on your wall of choice with Roomex app. And this is what we're going through today. So here we are, Katja, myself, and Emilia, and also then from Propeller team, we had Damir and Nermina, who are the ones joining the Peltarion program now with us, and also our dear mentor, Zacharias, as well. So we had different backgrounds, all of us, and not AI experts in any way, which is has been super exciting. We're learning a lot. Of course, we are always, you hear AI in a lot of different use cases. And of course, we have also then figured out or trying to figure out how we can utilize AI then for our problem that we encountered. So these summarize the problem that we have been then focusing around. and the pain points that we want to solve. So these four, I will go through very quickly. We only have 7 minutes. But the pain that's around having difficulties to understand and to visualize how a new color could look like on my in my apartment, in my house, in my bedroom wall, in my hallway, etc. Since I can't visualize it in a good way, I feel a little bit not too confident in taking decisions, what to do, what color to choose, etc. And it also can have a long lead time in that decision. And I of course want to, in a good way, try to. I purchased those samples in the store. I painted on kind of a big paper or something. I try to hold it up against the wall to see or try to visualize the result. And that's what we want to do, or to improve for all of us out there. So then, when it comes to then the AI, how we then thought about using AI for this, is then to, in an automated way, using AI technology, detect the wall in a photo, either a photo that you have in already taken from your room on a wall of choice, or a photo that you take basically instantly. With that, then after detecting of the wall, you can then choose a number of colors to then visualize. And this is just, we see it as the beginning. In the future, we can also see that we, of course, want to see how can AI technology leverage and continue to improve this app when it comes to floor detecting, for example, and also how can we then realistically also make sure to have or to understand the distance from wall to the floor, or how big the wall is, etc. So this is just what we start with the using AI technology for the detection then of a wall in a photo. Okay, I think that we will now hand over to you, Katja, to show us a little bit about the products.
Yeah, so this is the vision we had about the app. And as Lina said, we wanted users to be able to take or upload a photo to the app and then select between different colors and also wallpaper and flooring. And then be able to save that and see what different colors and floorings and so on that I've selected, and go back and change and so on. And also use that when planning to purchase products, and also have like some kind of calculation of how big is this area that I want to color or paint. And also in the end share this in a community in the app, and get input from other users on what color should I select of these 3 that I tried, and so on, to improve the make people more confident basically and also make them more engaged in the product, of course. So yeah, you can change slides, Lina, and click again, I think the middle one. Yeah. So when it comes to the Peltarion AI model and data understanding and preparation, we started using like our own photos that we have taken in our homes, and but we soon discovered we got to about 200 photos, and then we kind of figured out we need a lot more photos. So we learned that we could scrape images from Google to use. And then we decided to use Photoshop to prepare the images, because we need to put on a mask to say, okay, this is the wall. And then it takes a really long time to do with a lot of photos. I mean, we want to come up in maybe 10,000 photos to have in the AI model to get a like realistic result. But right now, I think we're at 700 images in the AI model. Also, we figure out that for the Peltarion platform, the images need to be square. So we also had to do that in Photoshop, make them square. But doing that, we also figured out that we could actually do 3 or 6 photos of one image, because then we could move, like we could crop them in 3 pieces, in 3 squares, and we could also flip the images of that. So we had like 6 images of one image to start with. So that kind of improved our efficiency in preparing the data. And also we learned that we could like resize them to it doesn't affect the result if we resize it to be much smaller. And then about the model building and deployment, we had some help from Damir, who I think is also on the call. So I think he will talk a little bit more about this. But what we see is that it's really easy to build these models, and we knew nothing about AI before, but it's Damir as well. I think he figured out how to do it without having any previous knowledge of it. So that was great. Damir, are you on the call?
Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't download the Grammy or Oscar winning like slow clap, but you're actually a little bit over time.
Oh,
So
sorry.
we will toss it to the expert panel just to give some
Yeah.
feedback. Lee, I have designated you computer vision expert person. So maybe you don't mind starting, just giving some feedback or understanding your thoughts about the product.
First, I want to say this is a really cool idea. I've never seen anything quite like this before, especially focused in on the wall color. Usually, you see like large scale IKEA replacing room furniture. So I love focusing in on exactly one key problem, and that sounds like it's going to be um, straightforward to iterate on. And that was kind of my next leading question is, as you're thinking about going from 700 to 10,000 images, I'd love to hear more, maybe dialogue about how you're thinking about continuously improving the product. One thing that I've found is that here, I've got one right here actually. These little cameras and things are so sensitive to things like white balance. And even when you bring a mobile phone into the situation, which have corrections, automatic corrections for white balance, you can end up in a situation where you'll need to continuously improve your results based on real world feedback, either giving your users an opportunity to flag results that are not quite looking right, or otherwise give you data and feedback.
We're thinking about like this being able to adjust the photo in the phone, the contrast and the brightness, but also maybe kind of allowing the user to visualize like this is what the color would look like in sunlight, in the evening, and so on. And also regards to improving the model, I think we need to like figure out how to maybe use the images that the users try out in the app and then feed them back into the model somehow. So yeah, thank you for those reflections. I don't know if I answered all the questions. But
Oh, you did? I love the time of day idea as well. I
yeah,
think that's exceptional. I always have wondered, like, what does this white look like in the evenings?
easier said than done though. So
Cool. Well, thank you, Team Roomex. Great start. So next up will be Ayushi.
Just 1 minute. I will just. And apologies in advance if it hangs up in between because that is my laptop. It keeps
the worst.
No worries.
Okay, so I am sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, but I'm sure if you.
Okay, I'll just try again. Just give me. Okay, it's not working. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm trying to. It's not happening. I'm so sorry.
No worries. We can just go ahead and then if you can try to sort it out, that would be fine. So
Can somebody else go before me? In the
Yep.
meantime, yeah.
Yep. Next
Yeah,
up is actually
Yeah,
Max.
I'll just fix it.
Yep. No worries. Take it away, Max.
Hey, hello. Obviously, totally forgot my headphones, so apologies for that because it does sound like I'm in a war zone here. It is like there's a lot of things going outside.
It's the theme.
But hopefully, I need to do a screen share, don't I? All right, cool. 1 second. Windows on. Okay, cool. Here we go. All right, now we're cooking on gas. All right. Can you see that? We good?
Yep. You can see it.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So the company is Train Badass, but it's actually soon to rebrand as Another Round. So when you see Another Round taking over online fitness next year, that is still me. So yeah, what we do is online PT, and by that, we don't do it like this. It's not me shouting at you to do burpees on Zoom and Teams and Google Meets. It's our clients fill out quite a long questionnaire. And then on that, we write a program for them, whether it's for the home or gym or a bit of both. And they go to the gym and they go and do the exercises. And at the moment, we use a third-party software called True Coach. And within that, they have the videos of me doing the exercises, and we tell them the reps and everything to do. So that's what online PT is, right? And we're trying to scale at the moment, so raising investment. The idea is to build a team and eventually go international. And what I wanted to do was, 1 second. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so basically, want to scale the process of delivering plans, but I want them to be how I train people. You know, I've got a pretty good system in place, and we're not going to get very far if I just bring on, 15 different PTs and just say, off you go, train people how you like. We've got to have a sort of methodology that we stick to. And so at the moment, I've got a really, really, really long manual that I give to the trainer, but and then they use programs, templates that I've written, and they tweak those for the client, right? So that's the problem is how do we kind of maintain quality control as we scale? Solution using AI processes to do the heavy lifting, which is where our friends at Peltarion come in, and they will help us basically scale that out and make it into a money-making venture for me, because the macro problem is Max is poor and we need to make him less poor. Right, so step one is where we are now, is building a classifier in Peltarion. So when I first got onto this, I spoke to Jessie and she said, that right now, trying to build the full version in 6 weeks just isn't going to happen. Something that can create a program from scratch and then look at someone's answers and give them a completely bespoke program if they need. So what we decided we were going to do was build a classifier. So build something that when a client answers some questions on a questionnaire, it will, to us, will point out which of our 17 templates to use, and then we can go from there. So even for one of my trainers, that's quite useful because we can say, right, you're going to start with athlete with lower body focus and cardio, which is the name of one of our programs in the back end. The client never sees that. And they know they go from there, and then they can take the other answers from the questionnaire and use that and use that to tweak the program. And then stage two, which I hope will be the next year, will be we can create a full AI model, sort of select the plan, the template, and then choose the appropriate exercise for the client. So building an MVP classifier using Peltarion. the data collection took forever. I say collection, I was creating it. So it was actually really helpful though, because we started out, I'll show you in a second how many questions were on the questionnaire, and actually managed to chop that down to like 7. Sorry, that's the building works. So we managed to chop down to about 7 questions in the end that were actually necessary to pick out the program. So that was really, really cool. And so then also what I did in creating the data was I filled out the questionnaire, the 7 questions, as if I was each one of my 80 clients. I went through and filled it out, and that actually gave me some good takeaways as well about my audience, which is quite useful for the next stage of our investment. And then what I did is I collated all the different outcomes, so how many times each program came out. Naturally, some came out a lot more than others, and then I created another 96 entries. So I did my questionnaire another 96 times to come out, so we had enough of each outcome. And it still actually wasn't quite enough, but it was better than we were before. So not quite ready to deploy yet. It's meant to say 99% training accuracy, not 9%. That's what we got to training accuracy. We couldn't get validation accuracy above 62%. Jess said that probably was some overfitting going on, which was expected. And we need a lot more data as we have so many inputs. So it's a work in progress. And the data thing is just me sitting here for like 5-6 hours at a time, filling out the questionnaire as if I'm different made up people. And yeah, so looking forward to working out the next steps with the build. And I'll just quickly show you the model anyway, if I've got time. Just here. So yeah, basically, if I go on the modeling, so I thought this was really cool. I was absolutely blown away to see all our inputs there. So like, how do you feel your lower body strength, how do you feel upper body strength? So you can see, because we've got so many inputs, and this is the chopped down version, muscle gain and bits, like we had a problem with, we had to rank goals and things like that. And Jess was really helpful in sorting that out for me. So there's a lot of inputs, so 176 data entries in our data set just wasn't enough to get that validation higher than 62%, no matter how many times I sort of iterated it. So yeah, like I'm really happy with where we got to be honest. I think it's really cool to see the potential there, and we're quite close. It just needs more data really. So yeah, thanks Corey and team. It was really, really fun 6 weeks, and Jess as well, like has just saved my bacon sort of every week and answered all my dumb questions. So yeah, thanks a lot guys. I hope I kind of got it there.
That was great. Thanks Max, that was perfect.
Thank you.
Ramsri, I'm gonna assume you're a pretty fit person, and if not, this is a great product for you, but yeah, let us know your thoughts.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Max, for presenting. Interesting idea in the fitness space. I mean, great job collecting the data as well with all the questionnaires, etc. So one question that I had was, so is this model run only during the onboarding process?
Okay, that's a good question. So right now, yes, because the way it works currently is they will start on week A of a program, so it'll point to week A, and then the trainer will know that after week A comes week B of the same program. So we've got 17 different starts, and then it goes week B, week C, week each different one. Eventually, what I'd like the full model to do to be pretty much creating the whole, just spinning out a new program every couple of weeks. And where the humans come in. So what no one else is doing at the moment is a lot of companies doing AI like we're doing now, but they're losing the human element. And what we want to do is keep humans in there for support, but also to check the programs, right? Because say you come to me to train and you've got a rotator cuff injury, and then the AI accidentally gives you something with like Arnold press, for example, and you go, all right, well, Max has given me that, like it must be fine for my shoulder. And it's like, but the program says it's all right, it's fine. So, what we do is send it through a person first every time, and then the trainer can catch anything like that and feed it back in and be like, no, Ramsey says that he had a shoulder problem, we can't put that in there. So that's kind of like, eventually we will want it to spin out new programs like that.
Got it. Thanks.
Cool. And good luck with the shoulder, Ramsey. Perfect. Well, in the interest of time, we'll keep moving, but we'll have an after hours sort of session. So any of the panels, if you want to provide more feedback, whether here or later, we can do that. But Ayushi, we'll give you another go. Are you ready to present now?
Yeah, I'll try once more.
Updating Chrome is the problem solver of life. So maybe, hopefully that will do the trick.
Okay. Yeah. It shows that I'm sharing, but I still can't see my screen there. I don't know why. That's bad.
It looks like it's coming when you just joined. So it's presenting now.
It's presenting?
Yeah, we can see
Okay.
ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, can you see my slides?
It's coming. I think it's moving really slow, oddly, but.
Okay. Sorry, you will have to wait. And sorry, I had to turn off my video so that it's faster.
No worries. Whatever works.
Okay, so can you see my screen now? Or is it still not there?
No, I have the. I don't know if everyone else is seeing the same, but you are presenting your screen circular thing coming up,
Okay.
but without the actual loading. So it's like a sad loading screen.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some movement now.
Yeah, but now it's just. Okay, I'll stop presenting. I'll maybe just switch my laptop. I'm so sorry. I'll just go and ask for my brothers. I'm so sorry.
No worries. No worries. So up next then will be Rajesh. Rajesh, take us away into the world of gooseberries.
Hi, hi. Can you guys see me?
Yep. See you
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah. Just yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
And you're presenting now.
Yeah. So I came across Peltarion through Doc's videos for no code AI tools. So actually, my mom has a business of making products around Indian gooseberries, or what we call it locally is amla fruit. So as the manufacturer and producer, we have a problem of identifying what are good gooseberries and what are bad. So you need an expert to know what is a good gooseberry and what is a bad. So when you're procuring it, and obviously when you're procuring it first from the farm, it is very difficult to identify, as the farmers are also not that educated on the same. So and also on manufacturing also, my mom specifically needs to tell the laborers, as to how to do this. So I knew a bit about low code and no code tools, so I went with Peltarion. So yeah, so the business problem to solve at hand is like identifying a good or bad gooseberry. So the whole point also of doing this exercise was like, it's a fruit which is rarely consumed because of its rare palatability. So if we pluck the fruit, you need to consume it in a day or two, otherwise it completely wastes sauce. So the first main problem for a regular person, if I give a gooseberry to you, won't be able to identify it if it's good or bad. And the species also, I mean, there are at least 9 to 10 species. So either you need an expert from the agro industry, or someone who is famous, who knows about Ayurveda and all the other medicine properties and stuff. So it requires a lot of manual effort. So my mom needs to go every time for procurement around different places, like regionally. So how Peltarion helped me was like, like for data collection, I told Corey that I have images clicked personally. So I had already a good data set of images which I clicked, but I couldn't make. For MVP, we just used around 100 images for the same. So we clicked them completely on mobile camera, which she had already clicked. So since she is an expert, so she has the domain expertise. The main challenge was like labeling them and preparing the data, like as to how do you exactly say like what is a good gooseberry and what is a bad. So yeah, these were the challenges. As I said, I was a bit confused in fine tuning the experiment, like as to which model to suggest. And then yeah, I further plan to deploy it using Adalo or Bubble. I mean, it's a long game. I still want to do the what do you say? I want to still add more parameters or labels to the data set. Yeah. So yeah, the end user we are planning for. So there is a local what do you say? Local farmers market, and also a website provided by the Indian government. So we plan to I plan to somehow launch this app on that local market, or say the local store. So it would be in the regional language, I think, because English is very difficult for people. Yeah, so let's go and see the thing. Yeah, so this is Peltarion's default display. So you add an image. So I downloaded some random images from Google, and we say okay if it's good or it's bad, and then let's see how it goes. Oops.
Ah, yes, the curse of the demo.
Okay, let me create a requirement maybe. Oh no. Sorry, what's the problem?
Seems like you might need to Slack someone on the intercom support there.
Okay.
There we
you,
go.
you got okay. Okay. So yeah, the model quite identifies. Okay, it's a good AMLA, but if the product is too different, I would say then it would still be a problem for someone, for a non-expert to identify. Like these are kept in a freezer and they have been removed. Now let's see what the model predicts it. Okay, it's still saying good, but the accuracy is 56.54%. So I can agree with this result. Okay, we are still trying to figure it out. So yeah, further I want to add, what do you say, more kind of features like I discussed with Corey. Like, what if there is another parameter of weight of the fruit? Like then at the time at the time of plucking the fruit, and also the regional specific fruit where it is being plucked. So there are different more labels which I'm thinking, and maybe it's time to talk with my mom again. And on the right side, you can have a virtual taste of all our products. Thank you.
Nice. Doc, my question to you is, have you had an Indian gooseberry, and what do you think of Regis's product?
Okay, so I just looked it up on Google. So I was like, no, no. But it was very interesting. I had no idea all the intricacies with that. I was just slacking all this to my wife. I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but I need this in my life. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a great case study and a use case, because this is something that's helpful. And also, you have an expert with your mom and being able to get better at it over time. So I loved everything about it. It was awesome. I have some applause. Yeah, it was great. Loved everything about it.
Thanks, Doc.
Lovely. He brings his own applause, ladies and gentlemen. He brings his own applause.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Regis. So next
Yes.
up is Annika. Annika, are you still with us?
Yeah,
Yes, she
thank you.
is.
Trying to share screen here. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, My name is Annika Jonsson, and I work at the Swedish Association of Local Authorities and Regions.
Could you present actually, Annika? It's just the.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, just the white one to start presentation.
Sorry?
The big white button. Start that presentation. For all the Swedish speakers on the.
Sorry.
The one next to it. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's presenting, and you just. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Now
sorry.
we go.
Okay. I work at Sveriges kommuner och regioner in Swedish, and I work as a statistician, advising and educating people in collecting, analyzing, and presenting data about municipalities and regions. And my experience in AI before this program, I've done a couple of online courses, and I also worked with two pilot projects in NLP. And the business problem I've been working with is the background is that the municipalities are flooded with questionnaires. They get like hundreds or even maybe thousands of questionnaires a year. And it takes a lot of time for them to fill in this and requires a lot of manual work. And also the quality is lacking sometimes. So the thing we wanted to explore was can we replace these questionnaires as a standard method of gathering data with AI methods somehow, like text, natural language processing methods. And the idea here is, can we find answers in already published text documents available on the municipalities' websites? Because when we help people out with questionnaires, you can almost always find the answers if you Google and or searching for the questions on Google, you can find the answers on the municipalities' websites. But I mean, the answer isn't organized the way you get them in a questionnaire, but the information are available out there. That's the main idea. Okay. We wanted to test question answering as a method of collecting or extracting interesting information from the text documents. And the text documents we choose to analyze was library plans. And the reason for that was that they are available on one web page. And normally these kind of text documents are spread all over the municipalities' websites, and they are like 219. So it's a little bit problem of web scraping them. But these library plans, they are gathered on one website. So that was the reason why we chose library plans. So the collection of data is mainly a problem because they aren't organized. Sorry. And as I said, this problem will be solved with a survey or a questionnaire normally, or another approach is like a subject domain expert reading through all the documents. I mean, collecting them through email and then analyzing, like researching, analyzing them and drawing conclusions and write a report. And that is also like a tedious process, like demanding high expertise in doing not so qualified work. So, and where does AI come in to provide the solution? There we initially realized, with help from my mentor, yes, that question answering isn't available on the Peltarion platform. So we had like two approaches to the problem. One approach for doing it on the Peltarion platform. So there I manually collected and built a small text data set and did the text similarity on the platform. So that's I'm going to show you a little bit of today. And the other approach is like web scrape and parse the data programmatically from the website and then build a question answering model on Haystack. So I mean, the second approach we're just about to begin with, so maybe we can present that later on, because I guess that would be the more interesting of the two approaches. But anyway, it was nice to test the Peltarion platform out, and as people already have said, I think it was quite easy to use. And yeah, I think I've already said this, like the data we used is it's 219 PDF documents available on a website, and a challenge is to extract the text from these PDF files. That's a problem we've encountered before. So I think that's kind of a general problem with the text documents in the public sector. It also needs, like, it's the best to have a programmatic approach to the web scraping, because the documents are updated quite often. So for the manual approach, I used DocParser and Excel to build a small text data set, and text similarity on Peltarion. For approach 2, yes, we'll use Python for web scraping and Haystack for question answering. And Haystack is a end-to-end Python framework for an interface for querying data through question answering. And I hope that the product, which isn't built yet though, will help people gain insights faster and more accurate without burden the municipalities with surveys. So, and I just did a quick screenshot from the deployed text similarity. And the thing I wanted to show is, like, I had an input about the opening hours for the libraries, and there it says, like, självutlåning in English, like self-service desk for borrowing books, and the output said mer öppet, like opening hours without having the point is, like, it gets the meaning without having the same word. So and also it's not easy to evaluate, but my feeling is like there's something there in the text similarity. But I think the most interesting part will be the approach with the Haystack. So yeah, that was it.
Very nice, very nice. And I think this person knows. I will ask them for feedback. But Mr. Question himself, Ramzi, let us know what you think.
Thanks, Kari. Hi, Anika. Very nice problem. So I'm very familiar with what you're trying to solve, as well as the Haystack platform. So one thing is that Haystack supports already PDF documents. So you don't need to write any parser to extract data from PDFs. So rather you can use Haystack directly. And along with Haystack, there are also other search engines like VV8 and Pinecone, which also provide hosted services. So if you want to kind of take the approach where you can directly put in all these documents and do question answering instead of hosting it yourself, uh, there are options as well.
She's back.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay, great. I was mentioning about Haystack automatically using PDFs and parsing them directly, as well as apart from Haystack, there are other options that you can use like Pinecone or VV8 vector search engine, which you can directly put the documents. And the third thing is for scraping the data. Oftentimes, if you have like JavaScript heavy, etc., you cannot use like Beautiful Soup or Python. So few other options are there are no code tools like ParseHub that you can use to parse the data as well. But overall, I think you are on the right track. Good problem, and with question answering, you'll complete the loop. So wishing you all the very best. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the feedback. Thank you.
Okay, the suspense has been killing me the entire time. Ayushi, this is your time to shine now.
Yeah, fingers crossed. This time it will surely work. I know. It will work. It will work. Yes, I have shared my screen.
I think you got a new laptop, Ayushi, which is great, but I think you might want to use a new mic or something because it's hard to hear you a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So this is about Moogle. So Moogle is an AI integrated search engine for mood-based movie suggestions from across OTT platforms by a human. So basically, it's trying to solve the whole problem of what to watch when you go to OTT platforms and you are just endlessly scrolling and you end up either leaving the platform or being unsatisfied with whatever you've seen. So this is all about giving you movie suggestions based on your mood. So it can be 3 a.m. thoughts or anything you like, and then we tell you where to watch it. Everything is available on the same screen. Then next, I'll just break this up for you. So what do I mean when I say suggestions by a human? So a mammal that loves watching or suggesting movies, dislikes endless scrolling, and likes a quick answer to what to watch. So and the next thing is mood. So the mood can be anything, like you want anything that goes with wine and pasta, if you want a movie for a film study or a character study, anything you like, anything that describes your mood or need, you just type it into the search bar and you get a movie suggestion based in that. And all of these suggestions come from a user contributed database. Like on the right side, you can see a human's picture. That is my friend who has contributed certain movies to the database. So you will always see a picture or a display tag of the human suggesting it, and also the suggestion rating. The suggestion rating is based on all the ratings that people have given after they've seen the suggested movies. So that gets updated so that the next person who comes to the platform and in case ends up with the same suggestion, they might know whether the suggestion is good or not. So the core human contributions equals our user contributed database from which we give the suggestions. Now, where does the AI come into play? So before Peltarion, it was just a control plus F database. Like you couldn't actually like allow people to search based on their own phrasing. They had to type in specific words that were already there in the database. Otherwise, it would just show no results. It's only after Peltarion that people can actually like search it in the way they like, phrase it in the way they like, and then here is where I use the text similarity model to give them the right result from the database. So this is the data. So the data has been manually created by me in an Airtable database, downloaded as a CSV, then uploaded to the Peltarion platform, which works like magic. Like I did not have to do anything. I just uploaded it, uploaded the data about the movies and the felt moods for each movie, as you can see it here. And then there was a text similarity model automatically created for me as soon as I selected it. And after this, I tried it out, the deployment. I deployed it, and then when I typed in something that goes with chai, so obviously it understands a lot of languages because when I typed it here, tea, I typed it as chai in Hindi, and the database somehow has it tea and not chai. I did it on purpose in order to test the deployment. So when I type it as something that goes with tea slash chai, I wrote it as chai here. It perfectly gives me the suggestions that have tea in it or snack time or a short watch. So the suggestions and the predictions were perfect. So this is the stack that I've used, Webflow, Integromat, Airtable, and Peltarion. Although I still have to integrate the Peltarion model with my Webflow because Integromat still is going to take time in order to have Peltarion on its platform. So once that is there, my search will be ready, like it'll be there. But now it's just there, like the deployment is ready, the Webflow platform is ready. I just need a connector like Integromat to be there with Peltarion on it to like deploy the search engine on my Webflow website. And if you want to sign up, you can just take a screenshot of this screen and then just sign up. And thank you. And special mention to my mentor. He answered all of my questions whenever I asked him. He got onto one-on-ones whenever I needed them. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ayushi. Lee, quick question. What is your favorite film for a rainy Thursday night, as such, in here in Stockholm? And what did you think about Ayushi's product?
Ooh, I've got to go with something extremely moody and gothic. I'm not so much into movies now, but I've been watching the Netflix catalog. This is amazing. I've never seen a product that allows me to basically take a wine pairing approach to my media. And I think this is so smart because the stuff that we see even now on the TV put out by some of the most advanced companies doesn't capture your emotions. They think about the way that we consume media as like this giant co-occurrence matrix and it's like fixed in time. And I love the way that you decompose this problem. And I was thinking about like, how are you going to solve this? Did you make a grid of all emotions and build this co-occurrence matrix? But you used text metadata. And I think that was such a smart way to kind of use the tools that you had available to solve a really complex problem. And I especially love the note that you had 5 to 10% code. And I think that's amazing that you can accomplish so much with these no-code platforms and things like Airtable. So really, really great demo. Thank you so much for sharing.
And small note, the Integromat integration is coming soon. So we'll get an update there. But last but not least, I hope no one has fallen asleep. Not a diss for all the presentations, but to Allah to talk about the topic of sleep. I think you're still muted, Allah.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So it's coming up. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Actually, I'm very sorry. In the last few weeks, I was like quite busy. I'm applying here for senior and promotion at my university, so it's taking much of my time nowadays. But I would like to thank Jess because she was able to squeeze some time and meet with me to talk a little bit more about the platform. So thank you for that. I hope, I mean, like the subject that we saw today was very interesting. I hope mine will be nice also. So actually, I've been working in the last about 4 or 5 years on a problem called sleep apnea. And I've done some work using logistic regression and neural network, and now I'm using the platform for that. So I will try to, give an overview of what I'm going to talk about, the goal, and then maybe define what is sleep apnea, what are the symptoms and consequences, and then what are the current machine learning techniques or algorithms that was used to solve these problems, and then why we need, deep learning to handle this problem. I will tell you more about the data sets, how we collected the data, from where, and what is the result and conclusion of future work. So we actually aim to get some kind of classification based on some collected data. The source of data that we have here, I'm very fortunate that we have different source of data. So some of the data are coming from ECG signals, some data are coming from, like questionnaires. Some of the data are coming from one sleep center in Texas, which is about demographic information or demographic data for patient. And our goal actually is to deploy this website, this model that we're going to create on a website or a mobile app. We did some success in that matter, and we have some publication in 2020 and another one in 2021 about that. And I would like to claim or say why we think this is important and what is the motive of this work. So first of all, what is sleep apnea? So sleep apnea is one respiratory problem. So during sleep, some because of the gravity or muscle relaxation in many of the patient that cause that the tongue and the surrounding tissues like fall into the throat, and that obstruct the flow of air. So that's the medical description of the problems. Now, how can we solve this problem? There are many ways, but first of all, we are talking here about the diagnosis. Some statistics say that about 22 millions of people that was actually in 2015, and this number grows nowadays, are suffering from apnea. The problem is that 80% of those patients are undiagnosed. So that's a problem. I mean, you could have an apnea and you don't know. And so it's 1 out of 12 people suffer from sleep apnea. That has an economical impact, which is about $150 billion that can come from workplace accident, come from a car accident, come from loss of productivity. People are not sleeping, and also diseases that can come with sleep apnea, like diabetes, blood pressure, stuff like this. And also we see that some statistics say that men are more likely to have apnea, like twice the percentage, and also that 4 out of 100 of men can suffer from apnea, 2 out of 100 of women can suffer from apnea. So and as I said, like this can has lots of problems like heart failure, stroke, diabetes, early disease, and many other problems. So it has really a consequence. So the minimum is that you feel fatigue during the day. Feeling fatigue during the day means the productivity will be very low. And of course it has many social impacts on behavior, on attitude, on many other things. So this is really a very important problem we are tackling here and trying to understand. So how this problem right now is diagnosed is actually you need to go to a sleep center, spend the night, and get get yourself connected with several number of probes around your face, around your heart, around your hand, around lots of this, and then you can collect some ECG signal, and then you can look at this ECG signal. Normally, the diagnosis happened by it's not really the physician, it's a technician who sit in a room, and then he look at the all these records, this huge amount of record of data that is collected for about 8 or 9 hours, and then try to extract some of the frames that shows if there is an apnea or not, and do some simple calculation. As you can see here, it's really huge, and actually this might affect. I mean, this process might affect the collected data, because maybe some people cannot really sleep. So it's little complicated. I mean, the data collection itself is an issue. And of
Cool.
course,
Hello, sorry, but we've gone a little bit over time. I don't know if you have anything to talk about the
okay,
specific
okay, I
problem.
can, okay, I can jump, no problem. So that's the problem, and here is this is the data set that we collected. As I mentioned, we have many things. So this is our previous results. We were using actually traditional machine learning, like logistic regression artificial neural network. And then I tried some questionnaire, so some simple case. This is numeric data or classes, and I tried it using the platform. So here is the result. So the accuracy was about 77%, which is in our field is acceptable. Although I was able to use some other platforms, and I got like 0.76% accuracy. And this is AOC curves. Here is a comparison between what I got before and what I have now with the platform. And the problem is I couldn't deploy this because this type of deployment is not supported by the web application. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So this is on the system. That's what it gives me. I mean, like with these categories, all our categories, you cannot deploy it on the website. Although I was able to deploy other models and get some results. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Allah. Well, since we woke this man up, Doc, what do you think about sleep and using AI to solve the sleep apnea problem?
I need it. I need this in my life. I thought it was really good. It makes a lot of sense. I'm really interested to see more details with it, but I really like your approach, and it's definitely needed. It's definitely needed. So yeah, it's great work. I would love to know more about the tech stack, but awesome. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, that wraps us up. I want to thank all of the expert panels first, Doc, Lee had to leave, and Ramsey. And of course, thank you to all of the teams. I think this actually blew away my expectations. Not that I had a little low expectations or anything, but I think it was truly amazing what we could accomplish in 6 weeks and what you guys done. And we are here to support all of you continuing on your AI journey. So I hope to see all of these apps and ideas live in the real world. Goodbye. And yeah, if anyone needs to stick around or wants to stick around and ask any questions, we'll be here. Bye.